Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Ec12one TV and welcome to the Let's Talk show. It's an amazing time again. I mean, we are not in the presence of the Lord, but I can say we are in the presence of God here in the studio. I'm blessed to have wonderful panelists with me today to discuss a very, very sensitive topic. And I want you to stick and stay. I want you to just listen to the end, and I know that you pick something. I mean, for those that we are already married and we are in the ministry, we will pick something and put and start doing something with it. And for us that we are not married, we will pick it and put it in our need. That one day we will definitely pick it up somewhere along the line. So thank you very much for joining me. Of course, this is Let's Talk show. The topic for today, I got three people. Now, one is a married man, the other is a married woman in ministry, and the other is a woman that is not married, but it's also in ministry. You know, so today the topic is women in ministry and marriage. And as young people, with the news going around, we are wondering, hey, can we as women go into ministry and still maintain a happy home? So that is the question that is boggling our minds right now. So I'm very blessed to have Ray with me, you know, a marketing and business consultant.
Hello.
Hi. So he's going to represent the Married Men Association.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes.
And I'm blessed to have this mighty ministral of God. And she says she's fighting with me, but not here. Don't fight with me, Doreen. So Doreen is a minister of the gospel, and she's a musician. So we just listened to her song, which is about to come out with a bomb and with a blast. And then Doreen, thank you very much for coming. And then we have Sarah. Sarah's post there, I have to read it out. She is the Human Resource and Alternative Dispute Resolution Officer at Legal Aid Commission. So we are blessed to, she's single, and so she will support us with the legal side of marriage, you know, try and explain everything to us. So thank you very much for coming. And of course, my makeup is by Reggie Glam and Glow. You know, you can find her on Instagram. And my costume, please, after here, go on my Instagram at Nana Amae Champon. You will see the full style today. So I'm feeling so besh and kasa. So that one is from Reggie Glam and Glow. So please stick and stay, and the discussion is going to be a bomb. So I'll let
ladies first.
Yes, I will let Doreen start, because this whole thing is pivoted on married women and their ministry. And I know now you are in full-time ministry, you are a gospel musician. And so I want to ask you, how have you been able to mix your ministry with marriage? I know you're happily married to a very rich man. So I want to know how your ministry is with you being married, with you being a mother, keeping a home and being a minister at the same time. How has your experience been like?
Thank you very much. It's not been easy, but it's been easy, because before you make it work, before you balance with the marriage, ministry and raising children at the same time, you have to make a conscious effort that you want to make it work. At some point in time, when you know, there is a saying that after Beijing, women, what men can do, women can do. Meanwhile, God also has his own perception about marriage. We can't just bring in Beijing to sideline what God has said and think that our marriages will work. If you don't do it the God way, it will not work. It will get dismantled and destroyed on the way, because you are not doing it God's way. God's way says that women should be submissive. So at no point in time that when you get married or you get promoted in business, or you God raises you up to a certain standard and you think that you are so high that you can't be touched even in your home. You understand me? So for some of us, We have learned to humble ourselves in spite of everything. We have learned to humble ourselves before our husbands. When you are at home, you are a wife. When you are out there doing ministry, you are a minister of God. You leave it there, you don't bring it home to come and manipulate the people around you. So that is the kind of mind I have had over the period. When I'm home, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I submit. But when I'm out there, I'm doing God's work. And that is, I believe that that is what God expects from every one of us.
Okay, so are there any challenges you've been having? I mean, sometimes there is a program you have to go somewhere at night, babysit, who will take care of your children. Your husband has to come from work. There should be food on the table. Like right now, you are here, your children at home in this COVID season and all that. So how are you managing?
That's why you have to be nice, because if you are one person who don't respect and you don't regard your husband, definitely when it's time for him to also support you, he will not, and you will suffer. But you know that this is the kind of calling God has given you. You are going to be busy out there, so why would you destroy your back that is going to support you? You understand? I have a good relationship with my mom. When my kids were little, she will come over. When my husband also has to go to work or attend to something, she will come over. But now they are growing, so I just do what I have to do, prepare at home, prepare their food, including that of my husband, and then I make sure I settle him well, then I leave. He's always at peace. He pushes me out there and wants to see me out. You understand me? So when you see a person like this, why wouldn't you give him all that you have to give to support, so that you also get the support from him?
Yeah. Ray, do you have something to say?
I think she's said it all. Ministry is pretty much work, God's work.
Yeah.
So it's just as you would have a husband and wife, and the wife is also working. There are certain scenarios where you would find a wife in a marriage where the wife is possibly doing a better job or earning better than the husband. So, I mean, in modern times, it has made women quite pompous. However, I think that as husbands, it is our charge to be the head of our home. I mean, with Christ being the ultimate head, it is our charge to make sure that there is peace in our very homes. Irrespective of whatever your wife is doing, whether she's earning more than you do or whether she's doing a better job than you do, it is your duty as the man to cover her. You are the priest of your home. So if you live out or if you work out your own duties, I think every other thing falls in place. So I understand that it's not an easy task for women, especially in ministry, and the husbands sometimes may not necessarily be in the same ministry. But I mean, if you take it from my professional point of view as a marketing person, as a husband, if your wife is in ministry, you are supposed to be the number one cheerleader. You make sure she's successful. You make sure you push her out there, like Doreen was saying. You make sure you hype her as much as possible, because at the end of the day, if you expect your wife to be the ideal wife, you need to paint her the way that you expect people to see her. You need to put her or couch her in the way that you expect other people to see her. So if you cherish your wife and you help her, you sustain her, you help her ministry, it actually has a ripple effect, and then she's also at peace. You get it? So I think that husbands have the responsibility to be the torchbearer of their wives' ministry, especially for those in ministry. They need to be the torchbearer, because it's not an easy task. In our society, we expect women to be always supportive of the husbands, but when it's the other way, sometimes.
So that's my next question. Okay, but before that, Sarah, what is your view on this? I mean, you are the single lady. You have been seeing what is going on now. Aren't you panicking when you hear marriage, because you're a very successful career woman? You know, I mean, apart from you being in ministry, you are also successful. So, isn't it scary to know that men are threatened by successful women?
Sometimes it does. Sometimes at work, people bring cases, especially marriage cases, and sometimes you just sit there looking at and listening to their complaints and all that. You wonder, people have been married for over 20 years, some 10 years, 30 years, and now they want divorce. Some are into ministry, some are this, they want divorce. There are so many issues, and you are sitting there sometimes. It does scare you, but one thing that we have the assurance, as they've already said, if both partners really understand themselves and they also appreciate each other's differences, it will make the marriage work. Sometimes you shouldn't look at the bad side of other people's own bad. You can learn other things.
But maybe you see, maybe Minister Doreen, you are blessed with a man who understands. How about cases where the man doesn't understand? Why?
I want to say something before Minister Doreen comes in. I think in physics, or what? I'm not a physicist, but I think in physics there's a law that says actions and reactions are equal and opposite, or something of the sort. She made a very solid point. A successful woman in ministry doesn't necessarily scare the husband, but then the ripple effect thereof. Sometimes success gets into their head. They come home and they feel big. You see, Minister Doreen said that she gets home and she's a wife, she's a mother. But sometimes people get home and as a result of their success, they feel that their home happens to be part of their fandom, quote unquote. So they need to lord over their husbands, their children, and every other thing. That is where the problem comes in. But if you get back home and you realize that you are still a wife to your husband and a mother to your kids, I don't think you
But
you
no, you
find
see,
these things.
there are some men, no matter what I do, how humble I am, he sees it as a competition.
As a
Far as you are up there and I'm not there, there is a problem. Why are you going high? And I have a friend like that. You know, the husband is threatened by the fact that she's going on and she's pushing and in ministry and she's doing this and she's doing that. You know, so at the end of the day, there is some oh honey, I want to go here. Oh, don't go. These people don't go. No. I mean, I even want to eat this thing by this time, so do it for me. You know, anything that would take the man to sabotage her ministry or her success, he will do it. So what does it take? What will it take in such a situation?
I think it boils down to a complex, inferiority complex on the part of the men. Men expect that, I mean, stereotypically, men are expected to be the most successful ones in our kind of culture. Men are, because we are touted to be the breadwinners of the house or the home, the society expects that the man is always the one doing best. Then the wife like automatically submits to the husband. But I mean, we are in modern times, and such men, pardon me, but I think they are still living in the past. If your wife is doing well, I mean, it reduces your own burden.
Yeah.
How sweet is it that you have 10 things to clear and your wife says, honey, because of my status or because of the work I do, let me do 3 out of them and sort out the 7. It reduces your own work. So for you to sabotage your own wife, it's a problem.
Mr. Doreen, do you have something to say?
I think that communication also plays a very important role as far as marriage is concerned.
Okay.
Some few days ago, I had the same discussion with a friend on Instagram. And then I was telling the person that, you see, sometimes the self in us,
Works so much. Sometimes you forget that in marriage you are no longer living for yourself. It's not just what will please you, but it is what will please your husband as well. Because now you are no longer alone, you are two. And then secondly, when a woman wants to get the attention of a man, I mean, sister, you are not married, but if you are in love with a certain man and you want his attention and he's not seeing it, he's not telling you anything, what do you do to get his attention? That's a woman. God has given us that power to do some things to get the attention of our men. So what can you also do to get the attention of your husband? You understand me? This work that we are doing, if you look at my ministry, the ministry I belong to, there are some
predecessors who have had issues with their marriage, some of them have ended in divorce. You understand?
Yeah.
So we have also learned some small lessons in whatever came out for the reason why they had their divorce. If you are with your husband and you are in this, I'm doing this music stuff, I have to involve him. Though he's not my manager, but I have to involve him. Sometimes there are some things I have to talk to my manager. I will intentionally let him talk to him.
Okay.
You understand me?
Yeah.
He is not my manager. But in cases where you don't involve him in what you are doing, he will have issues.
Yeah.
Let it be clear. Let it be open. Mani who said this is where we are going. You understand me? Then when you tell him that, honey, I'm going to this church, I'm doing this, he will not sit back and be thinking, so is it true that he's really going to, or is it true that she's really going to where she's going?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have made him think that way. You get me? Everything you are doing, he wants to know, so that he will not feel like he's being left out. You are in your own world. Be smart. You have to be smart. God has given us wisdom in marriage. You understand me? It's not everything is not spirit. No. At some point, God expects you to use the wisdom or the mind that He has given you. Use it with your husband.
Yeah.
You understand me?
Yeah. Thank you. This all yeah.
Or the fahan also the fahan, you are being spiritual. You are just being smart, and it will bring glory to God after you win. You understand me?
Yeah. So talking about this manager thing, I mean, recent news that we've heard in the kingdom of God or in the Christendom right now is the fact that as a gospel musician in ministry, should your husband be your manager? Should your husband be your manager? So what's your view on that? I mean, on the flip side.
After everything I've heard, he won't be my manager.
Okay.
Because mixing this industry thing in your marriage is something else. You understand me? And then you also you also get yourself acquainted with other people who would also relate with your husband. They will pass behind you and come and say some things to your manager, and it will bring problems. Okay. So because I don't want him to be my manager, then I still have to make things clear to him.
Yeah.
This is my manager. Everything I'm doing with my manager, my husband is aware.
Yeah.
There are some things I have to tell my manager. You understand me? So that he will not be left out. We are doing the thing together. Though he's not me, I won't let him be my manager. But I will involve him.
Okay.
Because you will need him.
So in cases where it's a pastor and a pastor's wife running the same ministry, okay, and normally when it's the man, it's okay because the woman automatically comes to play under the man and then becomes a supportive one. Then what if it is the woman that is the head and now of the church, and now the man has to be? There is one argument that says that Paul said women shouldn't preach in church, women shouldn't talk, women should be silent in church. I mean, cover your head and all that, So what are your views on that? Sarah.
Okay, there's one person I want to use an example. When we look at Joyce Meyer, the husband is like the backbone of her ministry.
Yeah.
It's like the manager. Almost everything falls beneath him. And one thing that I learned from what Auntie Doreen was talking about, is like you really have to know the strength of your spouse. Because sometimes the person can be a very good administrative personnel, or maybe a marketing personnel. So the person can help you in your marketing of your CDs and your public image out there, but the person necessarily cannot be your manager, or the person can have the strength in being the manager there, but most of the time, especially in Ghana, sometimes couples, like the partner is the manager while the person have no knowledge, skills, nothing to manage you. So it boils down to knowing both of you what you can do to offset the disadvantage of another person. So it's like your strength, letting your strength come out to help your partner in ministry.
Amazing.
I think there's a thin line between business and pleasure. Okay, and not just in ministry, but if you already your husband, quote unquote, is the manager of the home. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
But I know your wife is the manager.
Oh yes, my wife. She's a domestic boss. Yeah. She's my domestic boss.
Yeah.
Solid. Shout outs to my wife. Actually.
Oh, yeah. Claudine.
Yeah. But you see, like Sarah said, the husband needs to, let's say, if it falls within his scope of work, even that, like he's an artist manager or that, history has shown, especially within the music industry, that people that had their spouses as their managers almost always didn't work out well.
And it even affected
their marriage as well. So I think that it is for us to be wise, to use historical precedents and to apply wisdom to it, to know how best to go about it. You can still have your manager be part of your management, but not your manager. And if you say your husband is part of your management, he's not necessarily on your payroll. Like Minister Doreen said, you can talk to him concerning certain issues that you need second thoughts about. And it even helps, because whereas your manager is saying something, you can get a very objective view from your husband, because he's not the one in control of that particular ministry. So it even helps. You have to involve him, but in my perspective, don't make him the manager.
Okay. So what does it take? I mean, we've spoken about wisdom, we've spoken about humility. What else does it take to have a successful marriage and a successful ministry, Mr. Doreen? Communication.
A very major tool in marriage. Everything goes down to communication. If your other partner does not understand you communicate.
Yeah.
If maybe your language is what he doesn't understand, you bring in a third trusted party. That's a counselor to talk to. But this is the same man you spend your every night with. How come this one you have many ways of bringing your husband to get you to understand, or bringing your husband to understand you. That power is in your hand as a woman. You see, the Bible says in the book of Proverbs, I've forgotten the chapter, it says that it is only a foolish woman that tears down her home. The home is made by the woman, not even the man. If a house built with human beings living in the man, woman, children, if that house is going to be turned into a home, it depends on the woman. Because we women, we use our hearts, but the men, they use their head. Small gutter that he will just jump, the woman will have to be like this. You understand me? Like, yeah. So it's a matter of understanding, communication, good communication too. A rough answer, a harsh talk will turn your partner off.
Yeah.
You understand me? So you see, it's just a matter of being wise. Because the man you are living with, he has a mother. Someone trained him. He has a different background. He's coming from a different background, whilst you are also coming from a different background. And so we have to compromise here and there.
Yeah.
Whilst he is compromising, you also have to compromise. There are times he does something little for you. My dear, you're an angel. I adore you, sweetheart. On your crowd, your personality check or something for the team. Tell him something, make him happy.
Yeah.
Mokas and Madam. That's what he will say. Meanwhile, you don't need you. Yes, you need something, but this is the channel you are using. You will get it. You get it, because if you go the hard way, he will also approach you the hard. Men are naturally hard. You understand me? Men naturally have their ego, that they don't want that ego to be crushed. Yes. If you crush that ego, whether that man is a very quiet person or a very calm person, if you crush it, you will not enjoy your marriage.
Yeah.
You understand me? So one thing that we have to remember to keep is our respect for our husbands. Respect, submissive. Don't come and tell me that Beijing says that what men can do, women can do, or now you are working, I'm also working, and so we are all giving our chop on. And so what? You are still the woman.
I think that people have what is the word? people have overused the Beijing conference. It wasn't meant to enter into the home. It was meant to speak more in the workplace, where we have equal rights. I'm a woman, you're a woman. If I qualify for that position, they shouldn't say you know, and then in other fields and in other areas. But in the home, it is what God has ordained that should remain, and that will work. You know. So so what do you think would take to have a successful ministry and marriage?
Last week I said that if you're having a very successful ministry, or if you're having troubles in your home, that also is a determinant of how successful your ministry is. What is chasing you determines how fast you run. Especially in the music industry, we all know, I mean, as Christians, we know that the devil's preoccupation is with music, because that is his expertise. So you find that the devil will try, which is why, I mean, when you go into the secular side of music sells, and a whole lot of things around music sells a lot. So if you are in ministry, especially in music, and you're having all these issues, it shows that, oh yeah, dear, you are depopulating the kingdom of hell. You get it?
So they will definitely attack.
Exactly. So you need for yourself to also be spiritually conscious. One, you need to be spiritually conscious of what is going on, because sometimes these things, on the face value, they may be very minute, small issues that actually accumulate into a bigger thing altogether. But at the end of the day, you need understanding. Minister Doreen said respect and communication. You need understanding. There are certain times when my wife sends me, I love you out. I just ask her, babe, please, what do you want? You get it? Because, I mean, there are certain times when you see that particular sentence, you know, BBDH. And there are certain times she says it, you know, oh, this one there.
Let me just get you. My husband, there are times when I buy something for him, he will tell me that, this thing you have bought, you are going to take 10 times more of this from me.
You see, and I think that is something beautiful God blessed women with. But this whole feminism, Beijing conference and all this has entered a lot of people. God meant for women to be the sweet ones in this equation. You get it? So there are certain ways you can appeal to your husband that even a man can't appeal to his own boss. You get it? In this way, even if he's your manager, there are certain ways you can appeal to him that would make the work go on. But like I still hold my position that you shouldn't make your husband your manager in the ministry. But I feel that understanding should play a major role in everything that you do. Because if you understand yourselves, you go a very long way without squabbles, without any issues. Because, I mean, if the communication is there, the respect is there, and you don't understand all these things, you can communicate, but if you don't understand.
Sarah, I'll come to you.
Okay.
So now, are you afraid to get married? And would you like to get married to a pastor?
I'm not afraid.
Because I know some young women who are afraid to marry pastors.
I have a pastor friend. Maybe Sarah can see me after the show.
So Sarah,
so
what do you think? I mean, after all that you've heard, how do I put this question? So do you think that it would be safe to actively be in ministry and marry?
that one, it depends. It depends with your partner and yourself. Because if Auntie Doreen and Ray can even testify, when they were dating, courting and all those things, sometimes from the communication and your interaction with the person will really let you know that this person, if I should get into ministry, maybe you have that desire, that passion to go into music or preach or whatever, and the person know that that's something that's on your heart. So as you interact with the person, you'll be able to identify this person. If I should settle down with the person in future, the person will allow me to do what I want to do. Like, it's my passion. But sometimes too, as you are going out with the person, this person is not that type. Hey, I won't let you do that. But some people, because I love him, maybe you've seen all these signs, but you just have to close the eyes. I want to do, and when you get into marriage with that person, you know that those things that you already saw are playing in the marriage. So me, as from the onset, as you are going out with the person, will let you know. I just want to chip in this. I read the story of this woman in Congo. She was the first woman to break out in her community and with education, and now she's even a professor in one of the universities abroad. The husband she married was so envious of her, so much that it resulted in domestic violence, abuse. It took even the help of the school authorities to come in when they traveled abroad to separate them, just because the woman was doing well in education and going out to help other people and all that. And she said that it was from the time that she got married to the man. The man was not somebody who was interested in education.
Okay.
So when she had a first degree, the problem, master's, it just went wild and it just continued. So as you are going out with the person, we will let you know that this person will be a supportive one or somebody who will be a hindrance.
My reverend will say something, but before I tell you what my reverend said about this, can we take a quick break? We'll be right back. I just love the conversation going on right now. I know we are picking a lot from today's topic, and one thing we aim to do is for us to be able to speak concerning issues as Christians. You know, we can't just allow the issues to slide by and not speak anything out of it. That is why we are talking about it. So welcome again to Let's Talk, and today we are talking about women in ministry and marriage. So when we went before the break, I was saying that my Reverend BH, my Reverend BH, yes, that's my pastor's name. Reverend Boahima in team said something one time when she was preaching about marriage. Ray, do you remember? She said that if you, the individual, you don't know your purpose in life and you don't know where God is taking you, when you meet your partner, you don't even know the kind of discussions you should have with him. You know, you are not able to sieve the conversations, or you are not able to siphon exactly what you want. So you follow, I'm in love, then you get married, and then along the line you are matured, then boom, my purpose. So this is my purpose. It is are you now going to orient your husband again? For instance, me, when I married my husband, he wasn't a pastor, but I knew where he was going. Because already he was active in ministry. He can leave me and go and sleep at church. You know, wake up early Sunday morning, making sure the place is set for church. And that's the kind of husband I married. So I grew up knowing that, like a doctor, my husband can go at any time and say God is calling me to come to his church. And so when I was getting married, I knew that I have to share my husband with church, and I was okay with it. You know, so what is your take on that? I mean, then we take final words and then we are out of here.
So in the Bible, when
use that as your take.
So in the Bible, we are told that God created woman as a help meet. I think most people also translate it to be helpmate, which is why a lot of people think that we are the same. Let's do this, let's do that. I mean, and women are now agitating for the same level of everything. But
Oh, but it's not if we.
no, I don't have a problem with that.
Wait, don't go there.
I don't have a problem with that. But it says help meet. Usually when we pray and we are declaring to ourselves, we say that God should meet us at the point of our needs. So you have a wife, your help meet. That is actually God being there.
Okay.
God being there, help meet. So you see,
Yeah.
so that is God being in your presence, or God in your
So
life,
your wife is meeting you at the
point of your
need
needs.
as a man.
So if you don't know your purpose, that is where you have issues with your wife,
Yeah.
because God has manifested himself in flesh in your wife.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a purpose, then that is when you have to fight with your wife when she's going forward or she's progressing.
You
Or
should competing with her
exactly.
on what you do.
Exactly. So I mean, for me, I think that husbands, especially husbands with wives in the ministry, need to take a chill pill and actually help their wives to become better.
Mr. Doreen,
Yes.
final words to young ladies out there who are afraid to.
Okay. Last Saturday, I watched this program on UTV, Nana Mac Brown's evening show, and Shatawale's father was there on that show. I want to just mention one particular comment that got my attention. You know, he we're celebrating Father's Day, so he was also saying things about marriage and all that, and then he was advising the young people that, like Ray was saying, when you go into the Bible, he says that God created a woman for a man as a helpmate, suitable. The man used the word suitable for him, and that was what got my attention. You understand me? The Bible said that will be suitable for you as a man. You understand? So if you are going to make a decision as far as marriage is concerned, you need to weigh it and see whether this woman is suitable for my purpose, for what I want to be. Is this woman suitable? And the woman too must ask herself, is this man suitable for me? Because where I'm going, where I'm standing, is he going to support me? It will all start from that's why we court before we marry. If the woman or the man will support you, it will show. And at least he will show some small, even if he won't show everything, he will show small sentences that will show that no, this man is not for me. So that based on that, you can take a decision. We shouldn't just rush into marriage because I'm in love. I mean, you're in love of what? Marriage. If I want you enter into marriage, it is no more love.
Yeah.
When you enter into marriage, there's love. No, it play like 20%. All the other things are devices you have to use to maintain your marriage. And I'll say it again: it is only a foolish woman that will allow her home to be teared down. There are times it is so difficult. Maybe the man is so difficult. If you can't handle it, bring in someone that can face your man, and let's pick it up from there. If it is not working at all, then we know that the man is not being faithful to God. Then we let things be. But if it will work, God and involve God more too. You understand? Involve God. You see, sometimes we also tell ourselves that I want my husband to change. I want my husband to do this. You should pray to God that God change me so that I can fit into my husband's. You understand? Once God is working on your husband, tell God to also work on you so that we can fit together. You understand?
Okay, Sarah.
Okay. What I want to say is, as a young lady, as a single lady out there, like dreaming to get married one day, I think one thing that you also have to do is, as Auntie Doreen was saying, you have to prepare yourself. If you think that you want to marry somebody in ministry, a preacher, a music person or what, you should also get some knowledge about these things. Learn. Get things rolling. Like, you shouldn't just be sitting there, I want to marry and just sit in the house. You should be very knowledgeable about what you want to do or what you want to see the person, so that if the person is lacking in that area, like if you take water and oil for instance, when you bring both together, it can either make a very good meal, or with the addition of fire, it can cause a whole lot of things. But with oil and water coming together, either causing something bad or bringing out something good out of it. That's how both man and woman are. So when we come together with all your knowledge and appreciating each other and all that, it will let the marriage work and you have a good one.
Okay, so it has been an amazing time, and I know those watching us on Facebook, you have gotten a lot, and those who will watch us later, please post your comments. We want to talk about your comment. We want to read them out. If you have a question, just post it out there. Okay, so yes. So I have Sweetie in Torin Cancer saying, great topic today, really enjoying it. Frederick Walker, enjoying the program. And then Pastor Ishmael Echampon, our producer number 1, Bahope, no size. It says deep revelations. So we are really, it's very unfortunate. I mean, I wanted to talk so that we can exhaust everything about this topic, but unfortunately it is time. And if panelists have really, I mean, we went to Doreen's home and she told us how she has been pampering her husband. She's using wisdom to get what she wants as a woman in ministry. Being a woman in ministry means that you are supposed to be wise enough to also keep your home. And when you get home, know that you are the wife, not the husband, not the head of that home, for you to go and lord over your husband. But you are as a wise wife or as a virtuous woman. You have your money, you have your businesses, but she wakes up early in the morning to make sure she provides for her family. I hope you have really gained a lot of knowledge from this program. Join us every Tuesday at 11 o'clock. I will be in my chair with my red pillow in the Ec12one studio, and I know that you really love it. Thank you very much, Ray. Minister Doreen, after here our fight is coming on. Sarah, thank you very much. I mean, with all your busy schedule, you were able to come here. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming to join me. So, of course, my makeup is by Reggie Glam and Glow. My dress is by Thick Petite. They are all on Instagram, okay? The 2 accounts is on Instagram. Just go visit that place. She's ready to give you a discount, okay? So you can mention the name of the dress. I'll go to my Instagram handle. I mean, go on my page with the full thing. I'll put the name of the dress. She always names her dresses, so I'll put the name of the dress on there. And then the keyword is Ec12one TV. As soon as you say Ec12one TV, there'll be a discount for you. So if the dress is like 300 or 250, she brings it as low as, just call and you get the price. So thank you very much for joining me. I really love it. I love you all. And remember, it is possible to have a successful marriage and a successful ministry. Thank you very much. Till next week, it is bye from all of us. Thank you.